Dr. Lakin, conference hearing application, docket number 12HA00029, display panel 26, Dr. Webb, Dr. Templeton, Dr. Soya, Dr. Galbert, Dr. Seddick. Any other recusals?
Thank you.
Okay, take your appearances, please.
May it please the Board, Stacey Bond, Associate Litigation Counsel, appears on behalf of the Board. Terrence Lakin, MD, appears in person and pro se in this matter. These materials begin on ebook page 1354 of your ebook. We are here today on Dr. Lakin's application for licensure as a physician in the state of Kansas. In that application for licensure, he answered yes to disciplinary questions 20, 21, 20, and 22 in Addendum 2, which ask if you have ever been arrested, have you ever been charged with a crime, or have you ever been court-martialed or discharged dishonorably from the armed services. Dr. Lakin was subject to a general court-martial on December 14th through 16th of 2010. After that court-martial, he was convicted of one specification of missing movement in violation of Article 87 and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and 3 specifications of failing to deploy and disobey direct orders from his commanding officer to deploy in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in order to render medical services to our armed forces that were fighting in the combat in Enduring Freedom. Applicant has indicated and stated before that he has based his refusal on his belief that President Obama is not qualified to act as the Commander-in-Chief or the President of the United States due to his belief that President Obama was not born in the United States. He took this matter to a hearing and was found to be in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He was discharged from the services, and he did spend approximately, I believe, 6 months in confinement at Fort Leavenworth. He is here before you today requesting that he be granted licensure. It is before the Board to determine whether or not he should be granted that licensure, and whether or not his refusal to follow orders to be able to deploy to render medical aid to individuals involved in operating during freedom would disqualify him from licensure in the state of Kansas. Yes, Dr. Conlon?
And it's your opinion that it's a felony or a Class A misdemeanor?
There's no correlating civil or criminal in civilian that I can find that correlates to that. I think the big question here also is in regards to, he had a duty. He was an officer in the United States military. He had a duty. He signed up for that duty. He swore to support the Constitution of the United States, and he did not do that by refusing to deploy. And in doing so, there was one less physician, one less individual over in the Middle East that could be there to render medical services to our armed forces. So it's not just whether or not it's a felony or a misdemeanor, but his moral actions in refusing to go that I believe need to be addressed by this Board.
There's a misprint on it. I mean, it's not MD, correct?
DO. Yes, there's a misprint.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My fault.
Well,
You would need to be sworn in.
You'd raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Well, board members, thank you for letting me appear here, and I understand that this is a new application, and you have the responsibility to make sure that you have licensure to competent physicians. I think the question of my military conviction was solely administrative and military in the process. It has no civilian equivalent. It also has no reflection upon my medical abilities or privileges. I hope I have enough copies that I passed out letters from my attorneys stating that fact, that at no time during my conviction or my trial process was there any question about my military privileges. In fact, I was performing medical care for the military at Walter Reed up until the week of the trial, and I had numerous discussions with supervisors and credentials that there was no question about my abilities or my privileges, and they were not going to revoke them. So I think, I don't want to step into political or other type of discussions, but I do think that I had a responsibility as an officer and my oath to uphold the Constitution, and my loyalty and my convictions. I took a stand and I stood by those, and that was in defense of the military and the Constitution, and of enlisted soldiers that don't have that right as their oath of office allows them. My oath of office as an officer is much more has much more responsibility to question orders that I thought might be illegal. And I went through a process in the military for over a year and a half to try and define that, and I received no responses. And essentially I was left with a decision to make, and from that decision I had a conviction, and I take my punishment, and I'm ready to move on into my medical practice. Subject to your questions,
And if I can introduce myself,
I'm going to object to this individual testifying. This is a conference hearing. It's not set up for parties. I believe this is Dr. Lakin's brother. Am I correct?
Right.
It wouldn't be appropriate to have anyone other than the parties testify in a conference proceeding.
Okay, even if I act as a legal representative.
Are you an attorney?
I have been a practicing attorney until I saw the light and became a physician.
So you're not licensed in the state of Kansas?
I am not licensed in the state of Kansas. I'm licensed in Colorado.
We cannot allow you to act as legal counsel in a board proceeding.
All right. I just want the truth to come out about his history of performance.
When did you join the Army?
It was 1993. I was in.
Why did you join the Army?
Because I wanted to serve my country, and I was in medical school up at Kansas City, and our whole family has always been in public service, teachers or firefighters or policemen, and the military, and that was my calling, to serve in the military.
Did you think you might sometime during your career be deployed overseas?
Definitely, and I enjoyed deployments. In fact, I have deployed to Honduras for a year. I was in Bosnia in the first wave for a year, and most recently I was in Afghanistan for OEF-5. That was in 2004. I was
Excuse me, sir, would you speak into the microphone, please? Thank you.
I've had numerous deployments, and most recently in 2004 I deployed to Afghanistan as a squadron flight surgeon for the Corps Cavalry, and I was actually looking to volunteer again because I had completed my second residency in occupational medicine, and I was looking to, I knew we had a high op tempo, and I was volunteering to deploy until I came up with a ethical and moral problem that I couldn't solve, and I started withdrawing my volunteering to deploy.
So I guess you need to explain the difference between going to Afghanistan in 2004 and going over there after President Obama was elected. Is that the big kick?
Yes, and despite what was said, I've always just, I don't know what beliefs or where Ms. Bond gathered my beliefs and what she is stating, but I've maintained the stand that there's a question that needs to be answered, and I try to use the military processes to find the answer to this question, and the military was unable to give me an answer, and so I did what I thought was right, and I took my punishment from the military, and that's done.
Dr. Whitmer?
Do you believe he is a U.S. citizen, President Obama?
I don't know.
What's it take? The long form of his birth certificate has been...
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
The long form of his birth certificate has been publicized. What does it take to make you believe that he's a U.S. citizen?
I think that I have a question. I don't think that question's been answered, but if this has to do with my medical...
What would make you have that answer correct?
I think that he needs to have validation from
Is a birth certificate a validation?
A valid birth certificate.
Does he not have the valid birth certificate?
There are numerous questions about that. I don't think we're getting into a political question.
Then the question is, when, say if and when he is elected again, the Health Reconciliation Act becomes law, which it already is, and all of a sudden we have 20 million more people who's got health care. Are you going to refuse those people because it's his?
No. I was being ordered to a combat zone to put my life on the line along with every other soldier out there that can ask this question. And I asked the question. I spent a year and a half trying to address this through military channels and got no answer. Now, again, this has to do with my medical.
Not treat your military
Actually, okay, let me back up too. Let me say that I think that this entry into the National Data Bank.
We're not getting the comments on the court reporter isn't able to take them down when people are talking over each other.
Well, let me back up a little bit and just say that I believe that the entry into the National Data Bank registry by Medcom, I believe that was an error, and I think the documentation that I've shown you supports that my lawyers that have followed my case and defended me.
Did you have an objection to this?
I have reviewed those. I believe that at least one of these documents is already contained in your packet. Therefore, I have no objection to these being entered.
And I will be working in the process of getting the National Data Bank to correct that. It's going to be several months to make the Army review that, and hopefully they will see the truth too and withdraw that first line in the entry and just talk about my administrative and military convictions. It has nothing to do with my medical practice or my rendering of services. I never.
Well, you keep saying that, but there's a lot of things that we do in our private life that does have an effect on how we apply to the healthcare field. So
the statement that one other person had to deploy in my place. I mean, the military accommodates for everything, and I gave them well enough advance notice that this may be a problem. There was several doctors that were in the queue also. Physicians deploying with a unit are not. No one in the military is a key personnel if they can't be combat effective. They do and they adapt.
Questions for the doctor? Any other comments?
I'd like to make a motion that we continue this until Dr. Lakin can successfully clear this issue with the National Data Bank if possible.
Okay.
Second that.
You have a motion to second?
I said.
Okay. Whitmer, second. Any other comments?
Could I just clarify that? And if there is that first sentence in the statement, is that...
You're trying to petition the National Data Bank to get this report from the Army about your incarceration, the felony withdrawn, correct?
No, what I have problems is I think your issue also is that first statement, essentially the first sentence in the entry, is that I failed to render medical services on deployment, and that should not be there. That was not a charge. That was never addressed in my charges or my conviction. And if I get that first sentence in the entry removed, will there be any question with the board about my application?
I move to go into executive session.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We're going for how long?
15 minutes.
We'll go into executive session and come back in at 2:30. Session.
I would like to withdraw my motion to table this application.
Yeah, who's second?
I don't think there was a second.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Whitman.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you?
Yes.
All in favor of allowing that to withdraw, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Dr. Whitman?
Yeah, Mr. President, I make a motion. I think the board finds that the court martial is a dishonorable conduct, therefore we deny the license.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Welch? Any other discussion?
Do we give an opportunity to withdraw his application before voting?
Hearing no other discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We denied your application. Thank you.
And the reason being that
We consider that dishonorable conduct, and that it's within our statute.
Dr. Lakin, there'll be a final order published with notice of appeal rights to them. It'll be sent to you.
okay, thank you.